So yesterday I did a little headshot session, and it wasn't even out in the sun, but maybe an hour at the most. And I didn't think I was going to need sunscreen, but got a little red, so Welcome one and all. Today I just wanted to make a quick little video letting you know that this past weekend for my Houston friends I was able to photograph the spontaneous smattering 13. Good cause for the raising money and canned goods for the Houston Food Bank, so support your local theater wherever you are. And for this event I knew that I was going to want to rent the Canon EOS R. And so I did.
Yeah, we figured that out by looking at the title.
And my initial thoughts on this, and what I don't recall seeing in a whole lot of videos hyping the camera up, I want to get one little issue I had out of the way first. When I wanted to have silent shutter in shooting it, and I was doing some test shots in regular fluorescent lighting, no stage lights or halogens or anything. Fluorescent lights seem to cause some severe banding, and specifically when I'm in silent shutter, the flicker notification, or the anti-flicker, you couldn't turn on, but you could turn the anti-flicker on if you didn't have silent shutter. So kind of a weird trade-off. I don't know if it's possible to fix that with the next EOS R. I hope it is, because anyone who is shooting with an R, and if you're forced to shoot under nothing but fluorescent lighting and you want to be as silent as possible, you might be kind of screwed. I don't know. It was just something that stuck out to me that that made me definitely want to hold off from buying the current EOS R. So get on it, Canon. Other than that, I'll roll a couple of images for y'all to show the image quality due to the great lenses and the sensor, and the place that I rented it from, they already had a B&W UV filter on it, which it was pretty high quality. And I set everything up in the menu to be pretty close to my current settings in the Canon 80D, what I normally shoot with, like this video. And so I had to wait and see for when the stage lights came on when the show started. That's when I was going to find out whether or not I was going to be entirely pissed off about seeing any banding or not. And luckily, with the halogens and the LEDs and none of the fluorescent lights, it worked out fine. It didn't need the anti-flicker, and the silent shutter was just really nice. Nobody could hear me, but they could definitely see me in the corners, but I don't think it bothered anybody because they knew. Now I will say also with the silent shutter, and this could just be my inexperience because I only had one day to mess around with the camera and only one event, and then I had to return it. With silent shutter and the button to click and take a picture, it felt like I was just pressing a spring, and there wasn't really much of a halfway depression and then further down. So it usually you press the button halfway and it focuses, and you press it the rest of the way. I couldn't tell when I was going to freeze the action, and there's a lot of action going on. I'd say I would almost equate shooting theater to low light sports, to be honest with you, because everybody's moving and gesturing really quickly one way or the other. Same as in sports, they're moving really fast and you're following along with them. So I'm gonna see and hope that with the next EOS R iteration, maybe the more pro one, I don't know what's gonna happen, that I've got to treat it more like sports mode in a lot of ways. But the shutter speed, it was pretty consistent. I had it on 1/160th of a second for shutter speed, and the ISO, I don't think I went above 1600 or 2000, and you couldn't really tell. That's how great the image quality was in these photos. And I tweaked it a bit more in Lightroom. I had the picture profile set sort of to portrait, then I adjusted them a little, and in the end it didn't really matter because that was just the JPEGs that came out, you know. And I figured, well, it's not going to matter much anyway because I'm going to edit all these RAWs and convert them all into my own JPEGs how I want them to look, so no big deal on that. Oh, and one more thing I will add, the touch bar across the top, I didn't even use it. I don't think there was any need for me to use it because every time I accidentally touched it, it came up with a, do you want to adjust some sort of settings? I'm like, no, I don't care. So it didn't really affect what I was doing, you know, for this, and mostly, you know, shooting theater photos. With that being said, I think it was pretty good, fairly good first impression with the camera, and I'll probably rent it again. And like I said, I'll probably hold off on buying it till I see what the next iteration is going to be. Probably save up for one of those dual card slots. Yay! So that's about all for now. So be excellent, and I'll see y'all in the next one.